Imagine this, you have just spent the past 12 hours nonstop working on your app, and you've been going back and forth with your coding agent, spending hundreds of dollars likely and thousands of credits to get to a point where you believe your app is ready to be pushed to production and it's ready to be published. Well, let's talk about a very key problem with this. Did you test every single feature in that app? Did you make sure everything works? Your database is secure, your RLS policies are in place, everything is situated, and your app does everything that you believe and say it's supposed to do. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but most of the time that is not the case. And you need to actually test that app so that you can verify that everything is working the way that it is supposed to be working. So what I'm going to show you today is how to actually test your application, also using AI so that it writes its own test scripts for you, and you can go lay back, drink a pina colada on the beach, while this other AI coding assistant will go in, write tests for you, test every single feature that is supposed to be available in your app, and then give you a complete report that you can give back to your coding agent later so you know what needs to be fixed and what's already working really well. Let's get into this. So I'm going to show you how to set this thing up, and I'm going to show you how it runs live in action. We are here inside of my dashboard here in TestSprite, and what we want to do is go to test locally MCP so that we can just install it and let the MCP do everything that we need it to do. Now, as you can see, I ran this test not too long ago where you can see quite literally all of the tests it ran and what failed and what passed. Here's how we're going to get started. First, you're going to go up here to TestSprite MCP server. You're going to click on quick install. We need to generate an API key. So click on create a key. It's going to bring you over here to grab your API key. All you're going to do is click on new API key so you can generate your new key. I can just call this new key. All right. And from here, we're going to get this key right here. Make sure you copy this and save it somewhere safe. Make sure that this does not get exposed. Once you have that key, we can go back over here. And for me, I'm going to be using cursor for this example. So we can click on add to cursor. And that is going to ask us if we want to open cursor up, which we do. So it's then going to open cursor as I already have mine open. And what happens is it already pulls up this install MCP server, and you can go down to the environment variables where it asks for the API key, and you can go ahead and paste in your API key that it just provided to you and click on install. Now, one other quick thing that you need to change before we go ahead and actually use this is go over to the agents tab. And if we scroll down here, this is actually something recent with Cursor's new updates. If your agent is set to auto run in Sandbox, this will not work correctly. So you need to make sure that either you have run everything unsandboxed, which I'm not going to lie, I just let my agent do everything for me. It works great. I do watch what it does, but I let it just kind of run off and, do its thing. Or you can have it on ask every time, which also is a great idea. But for me, honestly, I just keep it on run everything unsandboxed, and everything will run perfectly fine from here. Make sure you just kind of keep an eye on what cursor is running so you can just keep an eye on it, understand what it's doing. Don't just close your eyes and run away, okay? That can lead into some issues. So now our MCP is installed, and to verify that, we can go into the top right corner here, open the settings panel, go over into the tools in MCP, and we can see that TestSprite has been installed and it has 7 tools enabled. These are the core tools that TestSprite uses to generate the tests for our application and be able to test them. So if we go back over to TestSprite here, there's literally a prompt that it will give you under the MCP test menu. You see this right here. It says, hey, test this project with TestSprite. And literally you just put that into the prompt window and it will take care of everything else for you. But what I like to do, honestly, before doing that is first make sure that you actually have some kind of PRD or a README document. So we have something like this right here, which is this README document, which is perfectly fine, which is just something that it can actually use to be able to reference to understand what features are available in the app. So what I like to do is actually grab the README document, put it into the prompt box, and then paste in the prompt, say, hey, test this project with TestSprite, which will then go ahead and queue up TestSprite so that it will go ahead and start testing our app for us. So what it's doing is basically looking at the README document, and from there, it's going to look at our entire application and figure out what everything is that's involved, what the tech stack is, what the key features are. So for this app, we have an AI assistant, we have a dashboard, context, pipeline and deals, tasks and settings, and everything is going to move through here. And now what it's actually asked us is this right here. It said, would you like me to proceed with generating the standardized PRD and test plan, or would you like to review and make any changes to the code summary first? I'm going to tell it to generate the PRD and proceed with the test. Cool. We'll let that run and see what else it gives us here. Okay, it's making our PRD. Cursor is then going to build this PRD and then provide this to TestSprite so it knows exactly what features it needs to test so that we can get an accurate test out of it. Let's go take a look at this PRD that it's developed here. I'm going to click on keep all so that it just saves that. And we can take a look at everything that's provided in here. We can see the dashboard, the priority, the description, and all the features that are within that dashboard. Okay, so now it says perfect. A comprehensive test plan with 12 test cases has been generated covering all of these features down here. And what it's done is actually opened a brand new tab over here where it says testing configuration. Everything looks like it's set up perfectly fine. We have localhost 8080. Yes, that is correct. The product specification doc, it's already provided the PRD, which is what Cursor just made, so it has context of the app. So we don't have to change anything right now for this, and we can go ahead and click on continue. Upload success, the page will close automatically. Okay, now we can go back to Cursor and make sure it got that, make sure everything is continuing to run smoothly, which it looks like it is. Excellent, this project is already running on port 8080. Now let me generate the test environment and execute. Now Cursor is actually executing all of those tests over in TestSprite. So here's what we can do now. We can go over to TestSprite. And if we look at the MCP test, we can see that our new test AI CRM is currently running. So we can click on this and you will see every single different test that TestSprite is going to go ahead and run for us. This does take quite a while. So this is where you can now go ahead and grab your margarita and go take a little kickback on the beach, let everything else work its magic. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and I will come back when all these are complete. All right, and we are back. Let's go ahead and look at this. And we have a lot of failures, but we do have a pass, and that's a pass to fail to create a contact via AI assistant with incomplete data. So we can see that that also fails. The reason everything failed in here is because there is no database hooked up on the back end. So what do you know? Let's go ahead and look at what it actually did to test this. So if we click on one of these, this is the create contact via AI assistant with valid input. This is probably the coolest part of this. It gives you a live screen recording of what it actually did. So you can see that it actually went into the app. It put a message into their into the little AI assistant, which the whole point of this is to be able to create contacts kind of with your own like AI assistant within a CRM. This was something that we did in the Lovable Dev Chat Discord, which is really fun. We had like 30 people trying to build the same app and just see who can build the best version of it. And this was what came of it. So it's really cool just to see this screen recording of the agent going in and actually testing this so you can verify it. Let's see what else we can take a look at here. We have full CRUD operations on contacts, which failed, of course, because there's no database hooked up to this. So correct, it did fail, but we can see what it did. So it went in, it looked at contacts, and it tries to add a brand new contact. It adds some information, and it added that contact, and obviously that contact does not exist, which is correct. It will also show you the exact code that it wrote to be able to go and test the operations of this, which is pretty interesting. And now what you can do, okay, is once this entire thing is done and it has gone ahead and tested all the features that it needed to test, we can go jump back over to Cursor, and Cursor is going to give you this key findings, your strengths, your critical blockers. There's security issues, there's contact creation issues, task list not rendering, AI assistant not showing confirmations, all types of problems are showing. And now our Cursor coding assistant has context of understanding to know what the problems are and what's currently working, which is by far the most crucial part of this whole thing. Looking at the full report, it's going to go ahead and give us this entire scope on every single thing that it did, and it will tell you what failed and what did a good job. So all you have to do now is quite literally just tell Cursor to go and fix it. So I can take this whole file, and I don't even have to really give it anything because it already has this file, and we can just tell Cursor, create a plan based on the severity of the failures from the test report. We can now see there's this action plan that Cursor has put together for us. So we have 3 critical, 3 high, and 3 medium, and 0 low critical things that need to be worked on, and just tell Cursor to go and implement that plan and start fixing everything. Incredibly powerful stuff and really, really cool, honestly. If you have any questions about the tool or you want any more of my input, just ask me down below in the comments. I read every single one of them and I respond to every single one of them because I want to help you guys. And of course, I do have a free school community. So if you want to join that, the link is also going to be down below, where I am building an entire community of people who want to stop playing with AI toys and start building real AI businesses. So if that interests you, then join the free school community down below, and I will see you legends in the next video.